Now, the show where we customize, curate our daily programming based on your questions and queries. And today, of course, on the onset of summer season, we are going to be discussing everything to do with travel. So right from insurance to how you should be planning your trip is what we will be discussing. And for that, we have with us on the show from Bajaj Allianz General Insurance, Sasikumar Adidamu, the Chief Technical Officer. And in the second segment, we're going to be joined by the Head of Relationships with Coxswain Kings, Mr. Karan Anand, to give some tips on how you guys can travel on a budget and how you can travel smartly as well. So thanks to both of you for joining in, and like I said, we will first address the insurance portion of travel, because yes guys, as much as a boring topic as it may sound, but travel insurance is important. It will keep you at peace while you are traveling, and of course, not to mention, it will ensure that you don't lose as much money as one would perhaps be afraid of losing while on travel. It sort of makes a moat from you and all the possible contingencies that that may happen during a travel. So that's the first topic that we have, and let me first bring on board Mr. Adidamu and talk about that. So it's a topic that people don't usually like talking about, and it's something that can be pretty boring, especially when on one side you're picking out destinations and then on the other side you have to decide, hey, how much premium should I pay and what insurance should I pick out. So simplified for our viewers, the top 5 things that our viewers should take care of when they are choosing their travel insurance, and also how early on in their travel plans should they consider travel insurance.
Very good afternoon. Travel insurance is obviously becoming more and more important as more and more people are traveling for not only for the official engagements in the past, but of late from India we have seen this vacation travel is increasing like anything. The fundamental issues connected with the travel and travel insurance is that these are all you are going to unknown geographies, and you are not very sure what sort of expenses that mean, what sort of exigencies you may come across. So from that perspective, travel insurance is very, very important, because outside India, by any chance, during the travel, if some sort of medical exigency comes up and some sort of hospitalization is required, let me tell you, it is a nightmare. It would be prohibitively expensive to get into a medical care center. So travel insurance would come in very, very handy under those exigencies. Not only that, of late we have seen many instances leading to the flight cancellations. So to talk about the latest Odisha cyclone, so almost like 3 different airports have completely shut down their operations. So you can imagine any number of travel cancellations happened into India as well as from India outside. So these are the exigencies, like we need to be prepared well. You look at even the travel delay, you look at the bounced hotel booking. There are a number of exigencies which would be addressed adequately by the travel insurance to the insured. Whatever financial loss or whatever expenses he is required to incur for various exigencies that are taken care of by the travel insurance, of course, subject to adequate sum insurance. But fundamentally, when you are buying a travel insurance, you have to check 2-3 aspects. The first and foremost being whether the insurance you are buying is adequately covering the period of your proposed travel. Our strong suggestion is, we have seen many times for various exigencies the travel gets extended. So you require to buy, probably if you are the planning is for a week, at least you buy it for 2 weeks. Similarly, if your actual planning scheduled travel is for 2 weeks, buy the insurance for 1 more week. That gives you. The other point is, you have to clearly check out what sort of covers you are buying. Whether those covers are what you are looking for, or some of the covers are missing. Depending on that, you would prefer, obviously, and you should finalize the travel insurance. And the third and most important aspect is depending on the geography you are visiting. For example, the healthcare costs are one of the highest, and as I said, prohibitively expensive when you get into Americas, or maybe even for Europe. Maybe they are not as high as Americas in Southeast destinations. So depending on that, you may have to buy adequate sum insured also. So these are the few tips we have to take care while buying a travel insurance when we are leaving for any either official travel or for personal travel.
All right. Well, so those are some general recommendations coming in from Mr. Adidamu on what you should keep on your radar when you're picking out a travel insurance. But hey, I'm sure you guys also have a lot of questions and queries that you may want him to answer. So that's the number that is coming up for you on the top of your screens. Call in, and we have with us Mr. Adidamu to answer your questions and queries. Well, first up, we've got some pre-received queries, and we have Sheila who has sent in her question. Now, she says, I'm traveling to Europe for almost 1 month with 2 kids aged 8 and 12. What travel insurance would you recommend? We are 4 people traveling on a holiday. Well, she hasn't mentioned her own age or her husband's age. I'm assuming it's a husband she's traveling with. But yeah, let's say it's a family of 4, your average family traveling to Europe for 1 month. And I think, Mr. Adidamu, this is going to be the most common scenario given the fact that we nowadays surround our schedules around our children's schedules. So what should families like this keep in mind? What sort of an insurance would you recommend?
Yeah, that is a very, very relevant query. Most of us, we go through this sort of, discussion. See, what we suggest when someone is planning to Europe, like 1 plus and 2 plus 2 kids, so you have primarily the customer has 2 choices. Either he can go for a family floater cover, which would cover the entire family, or the customer can also buy 4 different insurances. Travel insurance are available right from ages 6 months to 60 years. The standard covers, even beyond 60 also, the covers are available for senior citizens. So fundamentally, the first call will be whether you want to buy separate policies or a floater policy. The second point is, as I said, as I touched upon, keeping in view our destination, we have to very carefully select the sum-insured option because the healthcare cost would decide this. So typically, we would suggest anything like depending on the comfort of the individual, for hospitalization expenses, maybe $200,000 onward, they can look at buying a policy. Similarly, like when it comes to different coverages, so that would go depending on the type of travel you are doing. So obviously, of late we have seen, as I touched upon, we have a lot of exigencies. Try to cover all the exigencies so that the family is not in stress when you are trying to have fun abroad. So from that perspective, you need to have obviously very commonly we come across the delayed baggage, or sometimes even loss of baggage also we come across. So these coverages should be taken, and even look at the trip cancellation or trip curtailments. So or missed connections. These are very, very common exigencies of late we are seeing. So these things can spoil the entire holiday mood or vacation. So very carefully you select these things, and even bonds and hotels. Of late, hotels are overbooked and they accept your booking, and when you turn up for the accommodation, they may say no. So again, you have an exigency, but that is covered in travel insurance. So some of these things are very, very important. Apart from this, there are some sort of add-on covers also, because you are leaving India, your home is unprotected. In the travel insurance, there is a provision to protect even your home back in India.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, you definitely don't want to be caught in a situation where you miss your flight and then you're forced to cough up an extra amount to, catch the next flight. I've been through that experience, and I'm sure a lot of you guys as well have, and hence that's the recommendation from him. Okay, next up, we have Alok Mehta who has sent in a question. It's a very interesting one actually. He says, I understand that when I book a flight ticket, I pay for a small insurance component too. What does that cover, and do I need another insurance policy as well then? A very interesting one. If you look at the breakup in your flight bill, your airline bill, there will be a small component for insurance. Mr. Adidamu, how would you explain that to our viewers?
Different service providers are building the insurance cover also as a part of the overall package. What I suggest is we should look at the coverage, actual coverage they are offering under that small amount of premium. So if the coverage what they are offering is adequate in our view and opinion, obviously it would be a good thing to go along with that cover. But in case if we feel the coverage, we have seen many times also, only 2-3 components of the important travel insurance is covered, maybe another 5-6 components or 10 components are uninsured. So we should be very careful what is the coverage that is being provided out of that small amount of premium being deducted, and we are happy, then we can continue with that. or otherwise we should top it with more comprehensive and detailed coverage.
So yeah, that's a very interesting question and a recommendation on how you should read into that insurance. Okay, we'll take a very short break right here on the show, but do remember folks, the phone lines are open. You can send in your questions and queries, everything to do with travel, and we'll be here to answer. Welcome back. You're watching the Money Show, the travel special, where we are answering questions and queries with respect to insuring your travel plans. Our next question is coming in from Mark Almeida. Mark writes, it's coming in first from Tejas Parekh. Now Tejas says, I had to reschedule my travel plans. Instead of returning on 15th April, I returned on 20th April. But I lost my luggage because of the confusion with the airline, and till date, I have not got it back. The airline informs me that they believe someone else has picked up my luggage and has not bothered returning it. The question is, will my policy cover this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think the first lesson to learn here is ensure that you put a very, very prominent marking on your bags, or just buy some very funky colored bags. And of course, the easier option would be insure your luggage. So let's go across then to Mr. Adidamu for recommendation on just that. What would you advise Tejas to do?
Okay, yes, I think sometime in my opening remarks I touched on this. You should always see that the duration of the cover, you should be very careful while selecting. Whatever is the scheduled return date to India, you should be at least covered for an additional 7 days so that these type of exigencies are covered. Because fundamentally travel insurances are short period insurance covers. They are valid only for the period it is taken. So in your case, obviously the policy has expired on 15th and you returned on 20th. So there is a bit of issue in terms of the coverage. And the second part is about the loss of baggage. Loss of baggage, like two typical things happen: either the baggage is delivered a little delayed, or the baggage is completely misplaced. Subject to your policy being valid on the date of the loss, the airlines typically gives a property regularity report, a certificate certifying that your baggage could not be located and is lost permanently. So based on that certificate of the airline, you will be able to get your compensation for the loss of baggage.
And nowadays things are just on the tip of your fingers, right? I mean, if you do have to extend your travel plans, all you have to do is just perhaps click a button on an app, which I'm sure even Bajaj as well has, and it's as simple as that, really, you know. Okay, well, next up we have Mark Almeida asking a question. He says, and I quote, "I'm traveling for my sister's daughter's wedding with my two aged parents to America in July. What would be the best insurance for me to buy, given that I will be traveling with a lot of valuables and old parents?" No specific diseases or ailments that the old parents are currently suffering from. Not that it's mentioned over here, but yeah, I think the important part is that he will be traveling with valuables as well. So what would you recommend?
Yeah, for senior citizens, definite and separate covers are available in the market, taking into consideration the higher age and the risk exposure. So the insurance policies are available, plans are available, so we can buy for the parents those policies. But the only worry or the concern in this case is the valuables. But typically, whatever the travel plans they are available in the market, they don't cover the valuables. So probably to the extent of the coverage of the valuables, you may have to buy another insurance outside the travel, which would cover 24/7 globally. So once such a policy has been bought for the valuables, there won't be any issue in terms of coverage of those valuables as well.
Okay, all right, Mr. Adidamu, we'll let you go at that. Thank you then for patiently answering all the questions and queries we've received from our viewers. We've been getting a lot more, but unfortunately we'll be running out of time if we take all of them. Okay, well, now on to the next segment that we've planned for you, our viewers, and that is especially for those guys who want to travel on a budget. For that, we decided to bring on board Karan Anand of Cox and Kings. Mr. Anand, this is a perennial question, right? You want to travel but don't have money. So tell our viewers, what are the top tips you'd give them on how to travel on a budget?
Well, it's interesting that to travel on a budget, one has to have some basic plans on how to go about doing it. In my 25 years of experience in the industry, I'll try to garnish some facts. The first and most important thing is that if you're booking a package book it in advance. Most tour operators have early bird offers and flash sales. This is when you can really take advantage and get a great deal. That's one key area that I would strongly recommend for first-time travelers, couples, young families, middle-aged families, and for elderly citizens. The more importantly, when you are traveling alone or as a couple or with friends, you need to understand what kind of, apart from your airline, accommodation plays a very important role. So the accommodation you have to decide is that, are you traveling to relax? You want a hotel with a pool and a room, then you allocate it accordingly. If you just want to do sightseeing all day and not want to be in the hotel all the time and you just want a comfortable bed, then you allocate your hotel according to that particular desire you have. So defining the purpose of your accommodation helps you then to book it, and as usual, I'll keep highlighting, plan a holiday, book in advance. The other thing that we've noticed is that you got to carry less when you travel. This, for example, then starting with your airline, you won't need porterage. You won't have to worry about being on a bus or have to take a taxi because you have big baggages, etc. So another thing is, when you're traveling, if you carry less, you invariably pay less. And
okay, Mr. Anand, let's also talk about which areas of the holiday actually has the most potential for saving.
The areas where you can really save your money is, as I have alluded to often and a lot, is that you have to, your three key components of a holiday really are your flight cost, your internal transportation cost, and your accommodation cost. Please ensure that you have booked this in advance and you have planned what purpose of your holiday is, and you then book it accordingly, where you have maximized, because on a budget there'll always be what we call flexible expenditure. Like then a discretion based spend, you may want to shop, you may want to give a gift spontaneously, you may like something that a loved or a dear one may want for you. So the key is that once you have a basic fix and you saved enough on the earlier components, that really helps in your holiday. And my other advice is that if you're going to Singapore, or you're going to London, or you're going to Switzerland, or you're going to America, make sure that you have bought your currency in advance, because the rates that you get in your country will always be better than what you would have to do when you go onwards. So make sure that your currency in the country you're going to, you have purchased that in advance in any form, may it be cash or a travel card.
Okay, Mr. Anand, you've mentioned a lot about buying in advance, planning in advance, but then there are a lot of late bloomers as well, including myself, who do tend to plan their travels last minute. So by how much generally do costs go up? I mean, how much of a disadvantage are such people put?
Last minute travel is a very Indian trait and Indian habit. What people don't realize is that your expenses can go up anywhere between 20 to 30%. And this is largely because of your airfare component, where the closer you are to the date of travel, it may be a low cost airline, it may be a full cost airline. It's, that's what 100% I can assure you, you'll end up paying more just on that component in the last minute. Maybe you could compromise smartly and make smart compromises on accommodation by going to experienced tour operators who are carrying inventory of hotel rooms or a booking engine that may have a setup. You can be smart in that aspect, but still you're looking at least 20 to 25% more if you go last minute than you go if you plan it in advance.
So what then would be the easiest destinations to plan for last minute holidays?
Yes, so last minute holidays really is your short haul holidays. These are the ones that are nearby. You can go to Thailand, you can go to Singapore, you can go to Vietnam, you can go to Bhutan, you can go to Indonesia. Bali is the new hotspot over there. You can of course go to all your islands, Seychelles, Mauritius, Sri Lanka. What we noticed that even with the tragic events that have happened, we've not seen a surge of cancellations. So these are the areas in the area. There's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and the whole Middle East. Like then Qatar is now picking up as a new short haul destination with their visa free. So these are the destinations where Indians are tending to go in the short haul.
All right, Mr. Anand, now let's talk about the ever-raging debate of forex card versus cash. With financial instruments only improving and getting more innovative, what are the pros and cons of using both of these methods of a transaction?
Well, it's an interesting conundrum, and this is a new feature that people had. I remember in the old days, people had to take traveler checks, and it was tedious. You had to find a place where you had to go and exchange them. You were held hostage to what the service charges were, what the rate of conversion was. So foreign exchange cards really have picked up in a big way because it gives you security. So firstly, you must always have a certain amount of cash in your pocket when you travel to a destination, because you never know when you need it, and that's before you can get to an ATM where you can take out some of your exchange on your foreign card or on your forex card. So it must be a combination of both. You must have some cash, but a large amount of your money should be in a forex card at a fixed rate with a fixed price. It can be multi-currency, and in my experience, forex cards are easy. You can just go to an ATM. There are no processing charges, there are no conversion charges. So forex cards have really picked up a lot, and you've also pre-purchased your currency at a price which, if you go looking for anything over there, the deals you have in India and on a forex card will be better than what you could get abroad.
Okay, now the answer to this scary question. What if someone loses their card abroad?
In case of loss of a forex card, you just have to call the toll-free number that you will be told to, and they will lock your card down. And if you have there are certain forex cards that have insurance, and they will have it replaced to you in the destination where you're at. But you don't have to worry that once your card is lost, that it can be used or abused by somebody else.
As simple as that. Thank you then, Mr. Anand, for joining in and helping our viewers out with all of those tips when they're planning their travels. That's come summer. Alright, and with that, we're out of time on TMS Travel, but tomorrow, guys, we have Akshaya Tritiya, and hence we're going to be discussing all about gold. How you should go around adding a dash of gold to your portfolio on the auspicious occasions. This is what we're going to be discussing. So send in all your questions and queries, and as always, we will be getting them answered right here on the Money Show, the Akshaya Tritiya special. Until then, goodbye from us.